Live from the biggest stage in Louisiana, the Mercedes-Benz Superdome in New Orleans, Cox Sports Television is proud to present the 2016 All-State Sugar Bowl LHSAA Prep Classic presented by the New Orleans Saints. Our coverage wraps up tonight with the Class 2A football championship as number 4 Sterlington takes on the undefeated number 2 seed Madison Prep. Welcome in, everyone, alongside former LSU Tiger and Solomon High School quarterback Alan Risher. I'm Garrett Walford. Alan, two great teams taking in the Superdome today. We're excited for Madison Prep and Sterlington. This should be a big matchup.
It should be. Sterlington comes into the game red hot, full of confidence. They started off a little bit slow, 2-2 out the gate, but they've ripped off 8 straight wins. They're on a roll. And you know what, Garrett, confidence breeds a lot of things, and winning is one of them. So we'll see how they react to their streak they're on.
I think so, too. Two of the best running backs in the state both play for Sterlington, Tyler Muse and Devontae Douglas.
What a nice 1-2 punch to have in the backfield. They've got a balanced offense. These two guys both have almost 1,000 yards rushing, and they're averaging these crazy yards per average, anywhere between 8 and 9 yards. So look for these guys to be impactful during the course of the game.
Madison Prep, just 4 years old, brought back all 5 starters on the offensive line, all over 300 pounds. They paved the way for Tyrese Walker.
Well, Tyrese Walker is Mr. Everything. He's done it all. He's scored 26 touchdowns, almost 1,600 yards rushing. Look for him. He's going to be the feature back for Madison Prep tonight.
Sterlington has been to the Dome a couple of times, but not in more than a decade. Madison Prep, this is their first trip. How do you think this plays out?
Well, I think it'll be a different situation for Madison Prep. You know, they've kind of been on an ascension the last 4 years. They've done a great job getting here to the Superdome, but let's just hope the bright lights aren't a little too bright. And Sterlington's got a little experience, but it hasn't been here in quite a few years.
We've got a great game lined up for you. Get comfy, enjoy the holiday spirit, and we'll be back with starters and kickoff on CST when we return. A high-profile matchup, undefeated Madison Prep, 12-2 Sterlington, both teams looking for their first state title. Let's go down on the field with the third member of our crew, Carly McCord.
Yeah, Garrett, just like you said, going to be a great matchup tonight here in the Mercedes-Benz Superdome, which brings us to our Talkin' T-shirts, keys of the game. Starting with Sterlington, they must win the time of possession and extend the game. And Madison Prep on the offensive side of the ball, well, they shouldn't have a problem with this. They need to run the football. They have Tyrese Walker. He's labeled as Mr. Everything, so they should be able to get that done. But on the defensive side of the ball, they need to defend the option. Guys.
Thank you very much. Walking out to the field right now, the two coaches of their respective programs, Michael Roach of Madison Prep, and there's Jason Thompson of the Sterlington Panthers, now in his 4th season at Sterlington. And the first trip to the Prep Classic for them since 2003, first with him as the head coach. There's Michael Roach. Alan, what does it say about Madison Prep's program? As a varsity program, they're 4 years old. You've got to say they're way ahead of schedule getting here.
Yeah, they're way ahead of schedule, and I think you saw the interview with Coach Roach. I mean, you know, he thinks he's living a dream to get here in 4 years, obviously. And he's put together a really nice program over there at Madison Prep in the Baton Rouge area. And we'll see what they do tonight. You know, first time here, Sterlington here back in the early 2000s, but haven't been here in quite some time.
We take a look at the officials refereeing our game here, the Class 2A Championship. Head referee Larry DeGate. Peter Guidry, our umpire. Michael Rohaus, the linesman. Line judge and field judge Stewart and Grenier. Hilton Bro, the back judge. And Joseph Doucette, our side judge. Those are the officials for Sterlington versus Madison Prep. And we are almost underway here. Opening kickoff coming inside the Superdome. Let's take a look and see how Sterlington got here to the 2016 2A title game.
Well, they put it on Capitol in the first round, 59-28. Took care of Pickering, 48-20. Shootout against Kinder, 49-42. Won by a touchdown in a great game. And then, wow, a 3 overtime win over number 1 seed Manny to get here, 40-37. What a great football game that must have been. So they're riding a high right now. Won some close games, coming into the game with a lot of confidence.
Well, Sterlington won the toss. They deferred to the second half. Madison Prep will receive the opening kickoff, brought to you by Wendy's. And we are ready to get this 2016 2A title game underway. This one's a little pooch kick that'll land right around the 30. Madison Prep will field it and try and backtrack a little bit. That's Brian Savoy, their leading wide receiver, carrying that ball like a loaf of bread. He's back behind the 20, trying to reverse. And he'll be brought down. A huge momentum play for Sterlington on the opening kickoff. Let's take a look and see how Madison Prep made it to the Dome.
Well, they beat the Calm 76-0. Pretty much a whitewash. Mangum 42-0. Not much trouble in the first two rounds of the playoffs. Beat Faraday 43-24, and then had a big game against St. Helena. I think, Garrett, we talked about in the pregame, their average margin of victory this year has been 33 points. So Madison Prep has been a powerhouse in 2A.
They have done it with a powerful running game and a dominant defense. They have 5 shutouts on the year, including those 2 in the postseason. Edwin Kleinpeter, built like a defensive end at quarterback. He'll hand off. Still on his feet is Tyrese Walker, and he'll pick up 5 yards the hard way. Kleinpeter, 6'3", 235 in his senior season. Almost 2,000 yards passing on the year, 26 touchdowns against 6 interceptions. I don't know if I've seen a quarterback with that build before. You know he's able to run it, tuck it. He's able to get it out there to his receivers in space as well. He's got a great offensive line in front of him. More on that in just a moment. So 2nd and 4, ball's on the 19. Here's Kleinpeter. Little pressure from the backside. Steps up, evades it. He'll take the hit, gets the pass off, and he underthrows Lyndon Rash by about 5 yards. Here's the Madison Prep offense, brought to you by the All-State Sugar Bowl. 5 linemen back, all seniors, all over 300 pounds, all 6'3" or taller. And that has paved the way for the running attack of Mr. Everything, Tyrese Walker. This is a veteran club, 20 seniors for Madison Prep, and the results are very evident.
Good pressure that time by Sterlington. Got some pressure off the defensive end, made Kleinpeter step up in the pocket and have to really kind of throw it away. Couldn't get it downfield to his receiver, who may have been open.
Now 3rd and 4. 2 men in the backfield, pressure off the back end. Reels that catch in at the 25-yard line. It's enough to move the chains. That's Lyndon Rash. Let's take a look at Sterlington's defense, brought to you by the All-State Sugar Bowl. They've got a few upperclassmen on the line, but a sophomore as well in Chandler Moncrief. You take a look at the dog and the bandit, kind of a hybrid between a linebacker and a safety. One will play up, one will play down. Samaje Coleman, number 8. That's a name we're going to call many times tonight, along with Darren East, one of the leading tacklers there on your screen. Fresh set of downs for Madison Prep. And I'll tell you what, nice defensive stand there. Tyrese Walker ran right into a wall.
They did, and as big as Madison Prep is on the offensive line, Sterlington's got to take some angles, shoot some gaps, find a way to get some penetration. And I tell you, the first 2 or 3 plays of the ball game, they've gotten in the backfield. So it looks like the size right now has been a little bit neutralized by Sterlington's quick front 3 or 4.
That was the bandit, the man who plays up, Samaje Coleman, 6'1", 200 pounds. He's a senior. Chase Carter in on the tackle as well. Helped drive him down. Here's the handoff. Kind of a misdirection play, but it looks effective for Walker. Turns the corner, flag flies, makes the cut, past the bound marker. This could be on Madison Prep.
Yeah, it's probably going to be a holding penalty on the outside, getting Tyrese Walker on the edge. But even with that penalty, Garrett, you can see Tyrese Walker looks like he's a pretty special player here with a couple carries, making some things happen on the outside.
Walker has 2,200 rushing yards on the year and 37 touchdowns.
That's a pretty good year.
Our head referee, Larry
Holding, number 4 in the offense. 10 yards from the spot of the foul. Replay the down.
And that'll back up Madison Prep 20 yards. Let's see if we can find the infraction.
Right there. A little bit of a tackle.
Took a defender down with you. So shifty is Walker at 5'10", 200 pounds, but not a guy that you can arm tackle. And you see he just brought his man down with him and connected. Now 2nd and 20. They're backed up onto the 15-yard line. And he'll be brought down for minimal gain. They think because he's lined up everywhere on the field. Offense, defense, special teams. He's really the feature back. Let's take a look at the offensive line average weight, 325 pounds. Prep for Sterling, just 205, and that disparity, Alan, is evident later in the game.
Yeah, it's 120 pounds. I mean, that's pretty large. This offensive line for the Madison Prep Chargers is about the size of the New Orleans Saints. So, it's going to be interesting to see if Sterlington can maintain any kind of leverage with these big guys in front of him.
First down run of 15 yards for Tyrese Walker. And those big boys are not just sitting back and trying to pass protect. They are plowing through defensive linemen.
Yeah, a little bit of a missed tackle that time by number 41 for Sterlington. If you could have got him in the backfield, that was Kalen King. Had an opportunity to stuff him and just didn't get it done.
Madison Prep continues to run off the right end, off the left end, and he'll get it up maybe for a 6-yard gain, continuing to pressure Sterlington. Sterlington's defense on the year kind of sets up like a 4-2-5, drops some men into coverage and try and attack so many of those spread offenses that are out there in high school football nowadays. They're going to have to definitely maybe load up the line a little bit, bring in an extra linebacker or so, because Madison Prep's power run game is formidable.
Well, what they're doing early, they're shooting some gaps and running some stunts up front. I've been watching their linebackers and dog defensive backs, as you called it, and they're actually finding little openings in there and disrupting some stuff in the backfield and early on before Walker gets into the secondary. He's had a 15-yard run, but Sterlington, for the most part, is doing a fairly good job so far up front on defense.
Madison Prep running out of that I, kind of a pro team. They average 43 points a night, and now they will measure to see if Walker had the first down. Waiting to extend the chain. You see the Bodden ball out there, and it is a first the nose ball. The quarterback for Madison is up
there for Madison Prep. They're not making them like they used to, I can tell you that. And to have that many big guys on one team, especially at the 2A level, really going to be a challenge for Sterlington to physically stay in the football game here early on.
Now the Chargers from the capital city of Baton Rouge out to receive. Here come the Panthers. They'll run it right up the middle, little wedge, and they'll get it up to almost the 35-yard line. Junior quarterback Carson Flowers out onto the field, 1,200-plus yards passing on the year, 15 touchdowns, 2 interceptions. Really what keys their offense is a pair of dynamite running backs in Devontae Douglas and Tyler Muse, a fullback and a tailback. Allen touched on them in the opening. These two guys averaging better than 8 yards per carry. It is very important, critical, that they establish the run game against Prep and their huge defensive line. So Sterlington will start the drive on the 34-yard line. Little power run. Can't get past Madison Prep. Sterlington offense comes out on the field. One sophomore on the offensive line. The rest are upperclassmen. They should be able to move the football today. Douglas and Muse, the main rushing attack. Peyton Kemp, your leading wide receiver, and Austin Mears, also one of your top wideouts. Ethan Wheeler gets involved in the passing game as well at tight end. Only 2 starters back on their offensive line, Whit Buffington and the center, Noah Weatherly. But they've had a nice year running the football and have gelled well, according to head coach Jason Thompson. Boy, Madison Prep is just crowding that line, trying to take away the run. And they'll earn 4 yards the hard way there on the running by Muse. Your All-State Sugar Bowl starting lineup for Madison Prep. 4 men up front. Harris, Lamont, Jones, and James, all well over 250 pounds. The defensive backs impressive as well, with Tyrese and Tasman Walker, a brother combo that have combined for 17 interceptions between the two of them. Ball's on the 41-yard line of Sterlington. Now they'll split out 2 wide. On 3rd and 3. Here goes Flowers. Big pressure in the backfield, and he's just got to throw this one away, and Madison Prep will force the punt.
Yeah, 3 and out that time for Sterlington. You know, they look pretty good there with a little penetration with Tyler Muse going right up the gut. But good penetration in the backfield, and Carson Flowers being a little bit diminutive from the quarterback position. 5'8", 135, had to get rid of that football and throw it in the bleachers.
Number 18, Tyron Delmore, the junior back, with the huge pressure and forced Flowers well out of the pocket. Sterlington able to move the ball, but they're stalled at the 41-yard line, and they will punt. That one's high. And a low-lying kick, but he was able to get it away. Bounces at the 35. Sterlington's hoping for a little return, and it'll stop at the 33-yard line. Let's take a look at where Madison Prep hails from. The Baton Rouge area, District 7 2A. Elisa Welsh, the principal, and the Chargers. The school is less than 10 years old. The football program at the varsity level in its 4th year under head coach Michael Roach, playing for their first football championship here inside the Superdome.
Michael Roach has coached at the collegiate level. He's kind of done a little bit of everything, so he's very, very experienced at what he's doing.
Here's the handoff. Again, Tyrese Walker in the backfield, and there is a smothering stop by Sterlington. Chase Carter, 89, in on that one.
Good penetration that time by Sterlington. You got to get Tyrese Walker before he gets started. If you let him get downhill to the second level, it's going to be a problem, which was exhibited in the first drive when they took it 87 yards for a touchdown. Walker had a couple of nice runs in that drive.
Three wide set. Offensive line comes set. Here's a passing play. And a nice little pickup by Lyndon Rash. He'll be slung out of bounds by Sterlington. Little play by Cody Seward. You take a look at what Madison Prep's done the last 4 years. They've made the playoffs all 4 seasons. They were in Division 4 select. 2-7 in 2013 to 14-0. Alan, they've been undefeated the last 2 regular seasons. That's no small feat.
Yeah, that's pretty doggone good. I don't care what league you're playing. And to start 2-7 in 2013, very similar to the situation at Logansport for the last ball game. They were 2-9 when Coach McGee took over. Coach Roach started this program 2-7. Now he's 14-0 playing for a state championship.
Pretty impressive for Madison Prep. 1st and 10 coming up for the Chargers. Ball's on the 43. Here's a little lateral pass. And the catch is made by Savoy, the leading wide receiver. He turns the corner, and Savoy's gone. Touchdown, Madison Prep, 57 yards.
Wow, what speed by Savoy. He got outside of the defense and went straight up the sideline. And there could be a flag. I see a conference with the officials back here. It might be coming back.
We'll see what the officials say. Alan, to me, that looked like a horizontal pass, maybe even a little bit further back, so
during
it
the
would have
play,
been a rush.
holding on the offense, number 5. 10-yard penalty from the spot of the foul, and we'll replay the down.
Alan, I believe on the right of our screen, we'll see this. Yep, there's the hold.
Yep.
Guilty party is another wide receiver, Lyndon Rash.
Yeah, Lyndon Rash has made a couple big plays already, but he just got a little too much of a jersey that time to get Savoy on the outside and freed him up for a big play. So big penalty, big break for Sterlington.
Their fans came to life over the far side of the dome on the call by the official. Madison Prep will have to start over from scratch. Now 1st down and 14 for the Chargers, and their band is getting it behind us here in the Superdome. Walker trying to keep his feet. He'll be smothered for no gain. Cody Seward on that tackle, a senior. Got a little help there by Darren East. So a pair of seniors on the tackle.
Yeah, good play by Darren Easter that time. He came up and got him around the legs. And you got to get these great running backs tackled low, below their waist to get them down on the ground. You try to tackle them high, you're going to have a problem.
You saw the explosive nature of Madison Prep. A flag flies again here. Trying to turn the corner and maybe turn in some offense. The ball comes loose. Tylen Butler, the wide receiver, lost it. We'll see what the officials say, whether he was down or not. Still waiting for a call. Tanner Coley came up with it. It's Sterlington football. A huge turn of events.
First turnover of the night. What a big play by Sterlington's defense. You know, he was struggling to try to get some extra yardage, and a lot of times, you know, here comes the cavalry when he's standing up and they poke the football out. Clyde Peter looking down the field. He goes out to a safety foul, probably after a holding penalty.
Decline. The fumble was recovered by Sterlington. First down.
Trying to get extra yardage, and ball pops out. Big play.
Sterlington had Trevor Jones, the defensive back, making the tackle. Ball comes out when he put it on the deck. And now the Panthers have life here as we come to 3 minutes left in the first quarter. Don't miss the remaining 3 matchups of the 2016 All-State Sugar Bowl LHSAA Prep Classic presented by the New Orleans Saints on Cox Sports Television. The Class 3A matchup starts our full day of state title and and then took one. So a turnover by Madison Prep. Sterlington with an opportunity ball on the 3-yard line. Total yards, Madison Prep just killing it here inside the Superdome. Who's running? Now has more than 1,000 yards rushing on the year. Muse with 16 touchdowns to lead this team.
Again, the same play there, went right back to it. Probably going to be about a half a yard short, it looks like. I don't know if they're going to measure or not. It looks like it's about 8 inches short.
That'll bring up third and less than a yard for Sterlington.
We'll go right back to Tyler Muse if I'm Coach Jason Thompson.
Whether it's Muse or Douglas, they'll try and power forward here. That defensive line licking their chops for Madison Prep, trying to stand tall here against what you would think is a running play. Hand off to the fullback, and there's Muse powering forward for the first down. Let's go down onto the field and Carly McCord.
Thanks, Garrett. Well, quarterback Carson Flowers for Sterlington. He might be the smallest quarterback in the Prep Classic this year. Only standing at 5'8" and weighing 135 pounds, but Coach says he's a competitor, and he will tell you himself that he's really 6 foot 190 pounds at heart, and he's not too bad either. You mentioned earlier, Garrett, he threw for over 1,200 yards this year. Guys.
Looking on, just got the first down of the ball game. Moving forward, Madison Prep with 7 first downs. That's a bit of a disparity, but they're moving on offense. Fullback handoff again, and Muse plows. They've got to be happy with that production from him. He is so tough to tackle at just shy of 190 pounds.
Well, I'll tell you what, they've been going off right guard on that quick hitter every time, just shoot the fullback straight up the gut. And Tyler Muse looks like a tough football player. He's getting tough yards in between the tackles, and it's been their best play so far, no doubt about it.
4 rushes for Muse, 21 yards, and now they're almost up to the 25-yard line.
They're probably setting them up for a little pitch to our other friend, Devontae Douglas.
Douglas, a home run hitter. And again, they power through that line and pick up crucial yards. Trailing just 7-0, they forced a turnover on a tackle. And they have great field position now.
Well, technically, the Sterlington offense is a option offense, and anytime you get a great fullback and a tailback, they're running kind of a power load option play. And I can't tell right now if Carson Flowers is reading every time he runs the option or not, but Muse has been able to get some positive yards. Again, 3rd and short.
Flowers a good option to run as well. He's got almost 500 yards rushing at quarterback. There's that handoff again to Muse. They've got the first down against Madison Prep.
Just power football, getting a nice double team on Madison Prep's defensive tackle and getting some leverage, and Tyler Muse doing a great job here early in the game.
Well, calling games in New Orleans all year long, this reminds me a lot of John Curtis's offense, whether you're power off the left end or the right end. They're really winning the battle at the line of scrimmage and moving that ball.
John Curtis is famous for the split back veer, ran the veer to perfection under J.T. Curtis for many years. In this particular setup tonight, I don't know if I've ever seen quite the fullback be in the position that he is. It's such a quick hitter from the quarterback getting him the football. And Tyler Muse, they're having no problem with quarterback exchanges and really doing a good job.
You see Coach Jason Thompson there. He told me this week his offensive line could walk into a room and not pass the eye test. They're undersized. Again, they only have 2 starters back, but you look at these guys, 5'5", 220 pounds, 5'6", 205 pounds. They only average 205 pounds per man on that line, but they're still able to get it done. CST has the best coverage of your New Orleans Saints. Tune in Sunday morning at 10:30 for live pregame coverage on Saints Game Day with Victor Howell, Scott Shanley, and our Saints insider, Mike Neighbors. Don't forget to tune in for live postgame coverage that includes analysis from Deuce McAllister and exclusive one-on-one interview with Drew Brees at 10:30 p.m. Black and Gold Super Bowl. Maybe not this year. Inside the Coca-Cola red zone, ball's on the 17-yard line. And Sterlington trying to continue moving the ball down the field, 2 wide set. Here's a look at Devontae Douglas the first time tonight. He had room to run, but there's a flag on the play.
Ball start, number 66 on the offense. 5-yard penalty.
Those kind of first down penalties really hurt an option club, as we saw with Haynesville earlier in the first game tonight. You know, when you get behind the chains, it's very difficult when you can't really, confidently throw the football in these long yardage situations.
Ball set, and we are ready to go. There's Flowers.
I don't know if I've ever seen an offensive lineman 5'5", but it looks like that young man is tenacious. I just saw him focused in on the camera there, and he looks like he'll get after you.
Devontae Douglas way back behind the starting tailback. Douglas, 5'6", 175 pounds. Let's see if Tyler Muse can create a hole for him. No, it's to Muse. Muse still on his feet for the first down. He was met with a head-on-hand tackle by Bertrand Carell, but he'll move the chains.
Again, that same play with Tyler Muse. Madison Prep not doing a real good job yet of trying to shut that play down. It's been the bread and butter for Sterlington in this first quarter.
Muse took number 99, Brian Jones, for a ride and was able to move the chain. We talked about how Sterlington weighs 205 pounds on average per man. Madison Prep, 270 on the D-line. We'll talk about the commitments that they've made as well. Looking at a 2nd and 8. Here's Douglas, runs into the line, and he'll be stopped. To try and really set things up right for the senior year, Madison Prep coach Mike Roach had his guys get up twice a week for 5 a.m. We'd come to an end of the first quarter. Madison Prep up 7-0, but Sterlington rallying here. They're at the 15-yard line. They'll be back on offense when we return for the second quarter here on Cox Sports Television. We take a look at your first quarter statistics with Madison Prep up 7-0.
Total yards, 100 yards for Madison Prep, 39 for Sterlington, but I think it's a little bit misleading. That one big drive Madison Prep had to start the game, went 87 yards on one drive. Sterlington got the turnover early here in the first quarter, and kind of turned it around a little bit, running the fullback Tyler Muse and being very effective.
Don't miss the LSU Game Day Bowl special on CST Sunday, December 18th at 7 p.m. Central. You can also log online at coxsportstv.com. LSU taking on the Louisville Cardinals, and their top flight quarterback Lamar Jackson should be an interesting matchup over in the Sunshine State. Sterlington 2 for 2 on third downs in this drive. They're looking at a 3rd and 8 here against Madison Prep. Little time to throw. Here's Flowers running, gets a block, back up to about the 16-yard line, loses a yard on the play.
Yeah, twice now, Flowers has gotten on the outside to the right and just hasn't been able to find anybody. Looking downfield, kind of flushed out of the pocket. And just doing a good job not trying to make a play, force a play, get out of bounds. You can always kick a field goal, go for it on 4th down. Looks like Sterlington going to try about a 34-yard field goal attempt here.
Coming out for the Panthers, Landon Green. You watch out. There are a couple of guys on Madison Prep who have blocked a kick this year. Landon Green with the 33-yard attempt. He's wide right. There's a win for Madison Prep. And Sterlington remains scoreless.
Yeah, anytime you turn the football over and you hold your opponent, especially on the side of the 50, just pushed it slightly to the right, or the right upright, and a big win for Madison Prep to hold them to nothing.
Catch our next Southland Conference basketball telecast Saturday, December 17th, as the Louisiana Raging Cajuns take on the UNO Privateers. Tip-off set for 2 p.m. live from the Lakefront Arena in New Orleans. So a turnover on downs. The Chargers of Madison Prep will take over right at the 20-yard line. Been impressed with their ability to run and pass early on, and the officials will say a timeout taken by Sterlington.
Timeout, Sterlington.
We'll step aside from the action here in the second quarter with Madison Prep up 7-0. They've got the ball as well. Charger ball when we return here on CST. Watch CST tonight for your weekly sports recap with Victor Howell and Scott Shanley, Saturdays at 10 p.m. Central. CST tonight brings you coverage of your favorite teams from the Gulf South region with highlights, scores, and analysis. And it's only on Cox Sports Television. Madison Prep back out on the field. Starting quarterback Klein Peter trying to drive his team back down the field. They'll start at the 20. Here's a little run and a broken tackle. Tyrese Walker has run it so well tonight, and he's got a first down.
Boy, he did a good job just hurdling a tackler right there in the interior of the line. We'll see it here on a replay. Just doing a little hurdle move there, breaking a tackle at the second level and dragging people into the secondary. Picked up 15 yards. Nice run on first down.
I don't know what's more impressive, Alan, the fact that they're in the title game in year 4 or that they were in the semifinals in year 2. They took on Southern Lab, and Coach Roach said his players probably didn't understand the magnitude of what they were facing, but he's seen maturity in this year's squad. They're trying to score on offense here. Little 7-step drop, and it's intercepted. Overthrew the receiver. Sterlington forces the second turnover of the game. It's come loose. Sterlington will recover.
Well, there's going to be a face mask, so there's going to be a face mask on Madison Prep, so the turnover won't stand. The second turnover won't stand. We had 2 maybe in one play, but they recovered the football anyway and going to get another 15 yards tacked on.
For Klein Peter, his 7th interception of the year. He had a receiver in space, and it just sailed right over his fingertips.
Yeah, anytime you're high over the middle with the football as a quarterback, about 7 out of 10 times it's going to be intercepted. Safety standing back there with the gift and did a good job hanging on to it.
55, that penalty's declined. Face mask, incidental on Madison Prep. That penalty will be accepted. 5-yard penalty from the end of the run.
Let's take a look at the replay, Alan, see how this one shook out.
Little play action pass. Klein Peter stepping in the pocket. Had a little bit of pressure, and his vision may have got blocked, but he really airmailed the receiver on the dig route. And nice job on the Sterlington defensive back coming up with a huge turnover.
That's the leading wide receiver, Brian Savoy, who came up with the interception, his 5th of the year. Nice play by the senior in coverage.
Yeah, that could have pretty well been a personal foul, too. That face mask got yanked on a little bit, but only got the 5-yard variety.
Now Carson Flowers back out on the field. They missed a field goal on their last drive. They'll start this one at the 45. Sterlington with 12 wins on the year against 2 losses. The number 4 seed in this division. And they'll pick up 2 yards on the run over the right side. Sterlington has made the LHSAA playoffs for 20 times in the last 21 seasons. They have 2 appearances in the Superdome in 2002 and 2003. They were not able to come away with a title, though. You would say this is their best chance to date to bring some hardware back to North Louisiana. Flowers with a 2-wide set, 2-man in the backfield, kind of running out of what looks like an eye. They've got Muse and Devontae Douglas. It'll be Flowers with the late pitch, and Madison Prep sniffed that one out.
And we got another face mask. Seen a lot of face masks tonight. First game, we had 3 or 4 personal fouls, and again, people are tackling high up around the headgear and getting their hands around that face mask.
Number 7, Bertrand Carell, the sophomore. Quick talking to by the head coach there, saying, hey, watch the helmet.
Yeah, I saw Michael
Personal
Roach
foul,
giving him a little bit.
Face mask on the defense. 15-yard penalty. First down.
That is not an incidental, and that'll move the ball all the way up to the 30. Huge mistake.
Tried to run the option that time to get Devontae Douglas on the edge after running Muse in between the tackles several times, and Madison Prep did a good job, but just obviously grabbed the face mask to nullify a good defensive play. Sterlington now with 2 turnovers, Garrett, already. They've got to try to capitalize here and get something going in the end zone to get this game even at 7.
Penalties, 5 in the game, 3 for Prep, 30 yards assessed against them. And I'll tell you what, Burrell's got to be careful there. He turned his head dang near 180 degrees around. Here's a stop by the defensive line for Madison Prep. And they'll say they gained 2 yards on the running play.
Madison Prep has really made an adjustment. They're clogging up those A gaps now, which when I say an A gap, on both sides of the center, between the center and guard, got 4 or 5 guys standing in there now. And Sterlington's going to have to do something on offense to loosen this thing up on the outside, because they are just stacked in there totally to stop Tyler Muse.
One-on-one coverage on those wideouts. Kirk Snarls, linebacker, 6'3", 255 pounds on the last play. Here's that fullback carry again by Muse. And he's got room to run down into the red zone.
And I tell you, I love that play. He's in almost a track stance. If you look at him in the backfield, he looks like he's fixing to run a 100-yard dash, and he comes off full speed, and Flowers gets him the football clean every time, and they find a little crease. He's able to get through there. That's a nice-looking football play.
11 yards on the pickup by Muse. They're inside the Coca-Cola red zone, trailing Madison Prep 7-0. And a fresh set of downs now. This ball spotted by the officials on the 17-yard line. That line is stacked. They'll give it to him again, and he bulldozes his Flowers option. Douglas in 5, met hard and kicked out of bounds. Boy, he gets up to speed quick.
Boy, that's what happens, when you run that fullback inside the tackles, one play after another, and you finally pull it, and Flowers does a really nice job. We'll see it on the replay. He's kind of under some duress, makes a really nice pitch, and Douglas makes the first guy miss and get down inside the 5-yard line. 1st and goal, Panthers.
Braylon Bolden on the big hit right here. Make sure he's got nowhere else to go. Runs out of real estate. Ball spotted on the 4. 1st and goal. And the flags fly. Maybe some movement on the line.
I think we got an illegal substitution again. This happened in the first ball game down in the red zone, where you're trying to get different personnel in there. And sure enough, Madison Prep guilty of illegal substitution.
On the defense, 12 men on the field.
It's going to be half the distance to the goal. They'll spot it on the 2.
Half the distance to the goal. 1st down.
How good has Madison Prep's defense been in the playoffs? They've allowed 1 touchdown or less in 3 of their 4 postseason games. Would not be surprised if they stiffened here. It'll be 2nd and goal from the 2. There's that fullback. Tyler Muse can't quite get into the end zone. A couple of players rolling around there. And I believe the official spot is inside the 1.
I tell you, Muse is a tough customer. He got nailed right at the line of scrimmage, was still able to get probably within a foot of the goal line. I'm sure they're going to give it to him again here to try to punch it in the end zone from short range.
An offensive line for Sterlington that averages 205 pounds a man. And they're in the end zone. Tyler Muse with the fullback dive.
Really nice drive. Really nice drive by the Panthers. And again, offensive line play, Garrett's all about leverage. If you can get underneath the big guys, you can actually move them around a little bit. And it looks like Sterlington, they're playing so low. Look at them. Down on the goal line, really knocking Madison Prep off the football. Was able to get a little bit of leverage on the bigger defensive lineman. And what a nice play by Tyler Muse getting in the end zone.
Now an interesting setup. 1 man over the ball. And now the special teams will set up for the extra point.
That's what we used to call the old swinging gate.
Landon Green's kick is right down Broadway. Tie ball game here in the 2A championship. 7.5 minutes remaining in the 2nd quarter. What a drive by Sterlington to tie us up here in New Orleans. Your scoring drive brought to you by Bodden. 8 plays, 45 yards, 3 minutes, 35 seconds off the clock for Sterlington. And Tyler Muse, the fullback, with the 1-yard touchdown plunge. Allen, points off turnovers, so important, especially in a game like this.
Absolutely. It's such a momentum changer in a game. We saw that in the earlier 1A playoff with the state championship game. The turnovers were huge in that football game. Madison Prep, on paper, looks like they got the bigger personnel, the faster personnel, but they've turned it over now a couple of times early in this game, and Sterlington took advantage of the last one.
Tied up 7 apiece, and Coach McGee's got to be feeling a little bit better over on the far sideline. His Panthers will kick off. And now Madison Prep will field the ball inside the 15-yard line. A little run by Darren East, and he'll be brought down after a modest gain.
Well, Madison Prep's got to shake it off now and keep their composure. They've had a couple of turnovers early in the game. Bad throw by Klein Peter on the last possession. We'll see if they go back to Mr. Everything and see if they can get him back in the secondary and keep handed it to number 2.
Sterlington is now winning the time of possession after their last 2 drives, 9 minutes to 7.5 minutes over Madison Prep, and their defense back out on the field against that talented Madison Prep O-line. Trying for a tackle in the backfield, and the second chance effort, pretty nice there by Dawson Snell, the linebacker. 33 had his mitts on him, let him go, and rose back up and made the play.
Sterlington really looks quick on defense to me. They've been able to get up the field in penetration on several occasions to stop Walker in the backfield and make him do some other things to where he's not getting downhill very quickly. And you got to give them credit. They're running some stunts and shooting some gaps.
Snell, a big star for Sterlington. 150 tackles on the year now, including 13 tackles for loss. Here's Klein Peter. Steps, throws. Boy, look at the arm strength there. Oh, just through his fingertips. That was Savoy. 5'10", 175 pounds, full extension, couldn't bring it down.
That ball was almost thrown 60 yards in the air, so Edwin Klein Peter can definitely get it down the field, and boy, just a little bit more air under that football would have been a huge play.
Savoy laid out for it and almost reeled it in.
Great attempt by Savoy that time, but it's going to bring up 3rd and 12 for Madison Prep. Big play here.
Savoy getting ready to line back up. They're going to go 4 wide here, but the whistles blow. This might be a timeout by Sterlington. We will see.
Sterlington. That's Sterlington's second charge timeout.
Let's go down onto the field with our Carly McCord.
Thanks, guys. Well, this offensive line at Madison Prep is known around the school as the Fat Five, and not only because there are 5 down linemen, but also because all of their numbers that they wear on their jerseys start with 5. Oh, and listen to this. Together, another 5. They weigh over 1,500 pounds and composed of all seniors.
Boy, you look at those guys coming out on the line, and you said it during the break, that looks like the starting O-line for like Oklahoma or Miami. They have got some big boys out there, and again, all seniors, all back. Quite a size disparity between the defensive line for Sterlington and the O-line for Madison Prep.
But we'll see how this plays out. You know, a lot of times size doesn't mean everything. I've seen it over the course of my career playing football and coaching it and that kind of thing. The Madison Prep offensive line fairly well based upon the size discrepancy.
You saw 56, Donnell Wallace, 6'3", 340. Coach Roach called him the best offensive lineman in Louisiana. He made no reservations about it. That young man out there on the end protecting his quarterback, Edwin Klein Peter. Now 3rd and 12, and after the timeout, what did they dial up? It's a run. Plenty of room to run. Tyrese Walker finally runs into the last line of defense for Sterlington. They'll say he lost the ball, and it was down by contact. So a huge run for Walker in Madison Prep of 33 yards.
Well, Tyrese Walker, it was a little bit of a change-up. You know, you had 3rd and 12, and they run the football. Sterlington probably expecting pass. Walker gets into the secondary again, and he is just a tough man to bring down once he gets in the 2nd and 3rd level of the defense. Great move right there.
Good call by the officials. He was brought down, then the ball comes loose. Got it all the way up to the 40-yard line, and Walker tonight averaging 7+ yards per carry. Now Klein Peter comes set on offense. Quick pass to his left. Nice little cut by Savoy. Savoy's inside the 25-yard line, still on his feet and down at the 20. That second effort is hurting Sterlington on this drive.
It really is, and Madison Prep's ball handlers are really doing a good job. There's some poor tackling going on right now in Sterlington's secondary, and once they've got up there, a lot of arm tackling going on. They're going to have to tackle better Sterlington if they're going to keep him out of the end zone.
21 yards after the catch for Savoy, who has over 1,200 yards receiving this year. They got the big man involved again. That's Troy James, the defensive lineman. James moves it up to the 10-yard line. You got to keep going to guys like him. And Savoy, who's got 21 touchdowns on the year. James comes out, and the offensive line gets set here. 2nd and 1. The handoff to Walker will move the chains.
Yeah, it looks like the size differential right now is starting to take its toll on Sterlington's defensive line. That defense has been out there a little while, and if these drives continue to go this long, the better opportunity Madison Prep's going to have to run this football.
Allen, in the last 3 seasons, Madison Prep's offensive line has garnered 3,000 rushing yards all 3 seasons.
That's an amazing statistic.
Here's a little handoff to Walker, who's in the end zone. No flags. Touchdown, Madison Prep.
Really nice drive that time, coming back out after Sterlington has scored their first touchdown of the game, and to bounce back and really shove it down their throat with Walker and Savoy and everybody on the skill set side of the ball for Madison Prep doing a good job. Just a straight handoff that time and pretty much walked into the end zone untouched. Another missed tackle in the backfield, and great job of that Madison Prep huge offensive line.
Keon Hawkins will come on to attempt the point after. He's made all but 2 of his PATs this year. And that one is through. It's 14-7. Madison Prep taking a 1-touchdown lead here in the Superdome. Coach Roach has to be happy with that long, sustained drive by his offense.
Absolutely, and just a good overall job by everybody on the Madison Prep offense that time. And Sterlington really looked tired, Garrett, to me, at the end of that drive, and that could be a little bit of a situation that could affect them going forward here.
Your Baden scoring drive, 7 plays, 71 yards, 2:25 off the clock, and Walker with the 5-yard touchdown run. So you talked about the Fat Five, the offensive lineman who came back. Then they bring in Troy James at 6'3", 285 as the fullback. He helped clear the way and got him in the end zone.
Well, they may have the biggest group of linemen or people that claim to be, obviously linemen in the state of Louisiana. There's no question about it. I mean, I haven't seen all the statistical facts of all the high schools, but think about that.
Catch your favorite outdoor shows on CST beginning on Wednesday and all the way through Sunday morning. CST brings you a variety of shows that include the best tips on fishing and hunting in the South. Visit CoxSportsTV.com to get a full listing of shows and air times. CST is your leader in Gulf South sports. You got to love the opportunity here inside the Superdome to come down, support your team, and then maybe go out and have a little fun in the French Quarter and really celebrate a victory. What a special setting for the LHSAA championships. Madison Prep with the 14-0 lead. Here's East all the way up to the 45-yard line on the big kickoff return.
Beautiful return by East. They almost set up the old traditional wedge that used to be run all the time, having 5 or 6 guys straight across in the middle of the field here. We're watching a replay. Sterlington got about 6-7 guys straight across. Nice hole. East does a good job getting up the field to about the 45. Great field position for the Sterlington Panthers to start this drive.
35-yard return for the senior. East, who goes both ways, offense, defense, has more than 100 tackles on the year, makes a play on special teams. Just under 5 minutes remaining here in the second quarter, and Sterlington trying to answer that long drive by Madison Prep. Here's a late pitch off. This is to Douglas. Devontae Douglas inside the 30-yard line with a big run over off the left end.
Well, you knew it was coming, running Tyler Muse on first down off right and left guard for the last several attempts, and you knew he had to get on the outside here at some point. Great read by Flowers. He gets nailed in the back. Good pitch, and here comes Douglas off the left side, picking up a huge chunk of yardage.
Wow, 27 yards for number 27, who's got 14 touchdowns on the year. He missed the second half of last week's game, battled some injuries this year. That's hard to believe with over 1,400 yards rushing now. But he is back healthy, says Coach, for this championship matchup, and that was a nice run there. Here's the fake to Muse, the pitch out to Douglas, and he'll pick up 3 yards.
Good first down play again. They're trying to run the football. Really haven't gone to the air much, only tried it twice, and Flowers hasn't really been able to find a receiver, been flushed out of the pocket. That's a good first down play. It's a positive play, not a huge game, but it's moving the chains, forward down the field where you're not taking tackles for loss and that sort of thing.
4 minutes left on the clock. 2nd and 8 for the Panthers. Madison Prep was inside the neutral zone.
Oh, is that a gift? You know, an easy 5 yards given to a team that runs the option. And
encroachment, defense, 5-yard penalty.
That'll keep it 2nd down. Now they need 3 yards, and that might change the play they call here. They've been so good with that fullback dive by Tyler Muse. Maybe he can get 3 yards falling forward.
Absolutely, and you're in 4-down territory now. You know, if you're Coach Jason Thompson, you're thinking you got 3 plays here to pick up 3 yards for sure.
Wide receiver Kemp split out wide. They'll give it to Douglas with a shifty cut, and he's got a 1st down.
I love that play call right there. You got a big Tyler Muse able to lead through the hole for Devontae Douglas off a left tackle that time. It's kind of the old pitch play that LSU's been running for the last several years under Les Miles. Just turn around, pitch it to the tailback, and hope you find something off the guard area. And that time Douglas picked up a nice gain.
That'll move the chains. Ball spotted on the 15-yard line for the Panthers. Inside the Coca-Cola red zone. Can Carson Flowers keep moving the offense down the field? Madison Prep looking for a stop.
Boy, it would be so tempting to throw the football over the middle of the field. Madison Prep has nobody in the middle of the field at this point.
Gave it to Muse again. He's over the 15. And that'll continue to run out the clock a little bit here in the 2nd quarter.
Fast-moving quarter. Both teams running the football effectively. Not too many balls on the ground stopping the clock.
Tyler Muse came into the ball game with 4 100-yard games on the year, averaging 5 yards per carry. I think if they continue going at him like this, he'll have his 5th 100-yard game of the season. Flowers maybe changing the play at the line. Now they reset. 2nd and 9. Flowers avoids, pitches out, took a hard hit. So does Douglas. Madison Prep.
Great pursuit, yeah, great pursuit, Garrett, on that play. I mean, they snuffed out that option, and Douglas has had a hard time on occasion getting to the edge. And if you watch what happens here, good penetration by Madison Prep, and the secondaries just got leverage on Devontae Douglas that time and drags him down for a huge loss.
Bertrand Carell, 6'1", 195-pound sophomore. Nice form tackle. Now they're lined up over off the right hash. They're backed up, 3rd and 11. They'll go 3 wide here. And it's a keeper by the quarterback, Flowers. He's got daylight into the end zone. Touchdown, Sterlington.
Boy, the old quarterback draw works again. They spread everybody out. Flowers hadn't really thrown the ball much in the ball game, and they run the old draw and goes into the end zone untouched with nobody in the middle of the defensive secondary for Madison Prep. Great job by Flowers. Good move right there at the line of scrimmage.
16 yards untouched into the end zone for his 9th score of the year on the ground. They're an extra point away from tying it up. I don't know if Madison Prep's coaches were ready for this. They've done so well rushing the ball. The extra point is up and good by Green. We got a tie ball game here, 14-all with under 2 minutes remaining. Take one more look at this play.
Yep, well executed, good leverage, getting angles on the defensive lineman that time, opening up a gaping hole for Flowers just to step on into the end zone.
It was Flowers 1v1 with the defensive lineman Troy James, who is an Arkansas commit. He makes one cut and walks into the end zone. Well, your Baden scoring drive, 6 plays, 55 yards, 3 minutes, 16 seconds off the clock, and Flowers with that 16-yard touchdown run. Let's give you a preview of what's coming up at halftime here of our 2A championship game inside the Superdome. First half highlights and stats. We'll also look at the all-academic team. We're very fortunate that Madison Prep brought their band. They are congregating in the north end zone, ready to take the field and help entertain us here inside the Superdome. That's what's coming up on the LHSAA 2A championship halftime show.
Good job by Sterlington. They took advantage of a 45-yard kickoff return, really nice return up to the 45-yard line and punched it in from 55 yards on a scoring drive.
Kickoff is away. Madison Prep will take it at the 40. Some blocking. Just a beautiful read by Flowers, the quarterback, to tie up this ball game, and Madison Prep who does have 2 timeouts left, will try and work with 1:40 left on the clock.
Yeah, let's see if Michael Roach and the Chargers actually have some kind of a 2-minute offense here that they can try to drive this football, at least to get into some kind of a field goal areas. They're at their own 33, probably going to need, let's say 50 yards or so in order to get in field goal range, but they're going to call a timeout and talk about it.
Timeout for Madison Prep.
Timeout, Madison Prep.
Klein Peter is no stranger to
That's
throwing the
their
ball.
second charge timeout.
In his senior season, he's got 26 passing touchdowns on the year, now 7 interceptions with 1 in this game, but this is a guy that's thrown for 2,000 yards. You can tune in to CST Friday, December 16th at 6 p.m. for the Arkansas Game Day Bowl Special. Alex Perlman, Felix Jones, and Ken Hamlin team up at the CST Studios in New Orleans to get you ready for the Belk Bowl when the Razorbacks take on the Virginia Tech Hokies. Arkansas Game Day, only on Cox Sports Television. A little SEC-ACC affair there for the Razorbacks. Madison Prep will come back out on the field. Ball spotted on the 34-yard line. Less than 2 minutes to work here in the second quarter. Coach Roach said he's seen phenomenal progression by Klein Peter since he came in as a 9th grader. Now he knows to pick his spots, gets rid of the football when he has to, and you can see the numbers, rushing and passing. He's been very effective in his final year. 4 wide set. They'll hand off to Mr. Everything Walker, following a blocker in Savoy, and probably picked up about 5 or 6 yards following the blocker. He'll stay inbounds and the clock will run.
Nice run by Walker that time, but a pretty good job by the Sterlington defense. You got to make him go horizontal. If he gets straight up the field running downhill into the secondary, look out. It's going to be a lot of trouble for the Panthers, but pretty good job holding it about 6 yards there. But again, positive first down play.
Walker already with 1 touchdown tonight. A flag flies in the backfield. Pass to Savoy. Hurdles a defender. And he's over the 45-yard line, but it all might be wiped out. It is against Madison Prep.
That's an illegal shift.
Well, he is a track and field star. Savoy made the 200-meter state finals for Madison Prep earlier last spring. Shows the hops there.
I can believe it because he took that pass early in the game with the penalty all the way for a touchdown.
Illegal
he can
shift
fly.
on the offense, number 56. Not set for a second before the snap.
So Donnell Wallace, the senior offensive lineman, called for the penalty. Let's watch the elevation here by Savoy. Took 2 defenders out with him.
I'm telling you, that's a nice play. Picked up extra 3 or 4 yards by just getting airborne.
Clock ticking. It goes under a minute. Ball still on the 34-yard line. Here's a deep drop by Klein Peter. Over the middle, his receiver lost his feet and can't bring it in. I think he kind of threw it behind him.
Slightly behind him that time on the dig route again. He's having a little trouble throwing that ball over the middle. First one high, second one a little bit low and behind. Going to bring up a 3rd down here. And they've got 1 timeout left, and I'm quite sure they'll probably throw it here.
The intended target, Blake Ackwell, the wide receiver. With 3rd and 10, the Sterlington faithful who have made the trip down to New Orleans are getting loud. Here's Klein Peter again. Time to throw. Almost an interception. It would have been east. But Sterlington fans happy nonetheless, and it looks like that young man may have jammed a finger on his right hand.
Well, he's going to have to shake that off, but what a nice job. I mean, he met the football with the receiver, and great job of knocking that ball loose and bringing up a 4th down. Good defense by Sterlington on that drive, you know.
So Madison Prep will bring the punt team out on the field. Chargers forced to give the ball back, and it's their defensive back, Braylon Bolden, who will punt it away. This one's thrown over his head. Bolden's got it at the 16. He'll reverse course and will be brought down inside the 10.
Wow.
34 seconds on the game clock, and a scoring opportunity now for Sterlington.
What a bad time for a high snap over the punter's head. Like I said, these special teams sometimes in the lower classifications are a little bit of a guesswork. And this time on the replay, a little bit of a high snap, can't handle it, trying to get back there. And the worst thing he could do as a punter is to try to make a play after a bad one's already happened. He lost another 5 or 10 yards, and Sterlington at the 10-yard line, 1st and 10 with 34 seconds.
Madison Prep loses an unbelievable 24 total yards on that play, and then they'll bring the defense right back out with the ball spotted on the 10. Sterlington with one timeout, and I would be surprised if they give it to anybody other than to Tyler Muse or Devontae Douglas.
Absolutely. You got to give it to you 1-2 punch back there. They've been carrying the load all day. We'll see what happens in the shotgun, though. Flowers.
Here's Flowers with some pressure. Flag flies, rolls out, throws across his body into the end zone. It'll go out of bounds from the Coca-Cola red zone.
Interesting to see what this flag is. They got a legal shift again on Sterlington this time. Going to be a 5-yard penalty.
Madison Prep shot through that line. Great penetration.
Illegal shift on the offense. 5-yard penalty. Replay first down.
Well, the Panthers have one timeout. They really can't afford to squander this opportunity after a great break. That's almost like a turnover, a snap over a punter's head for such a reversal of field position. So we'll see if they got some kind of play in the playbook here to take advantage of it.
Flowers with 15 passing touchdowns on the year. He's got a little room to throw if he wants. 2 wide receivers at the top of your screen. He's in the shotgun here. He'll keep it himself, runs over the right end, and maybe gets back to the original line of scrimmage. 20 seconds on the game clock, and timeout is called by Sterlington.
Not a bad call. Tried to change it up a little bit. Went to the play they scored a touchdown on, kind of a quarterback draw-looking play. But had to use the timeout by not throwing the football.
Timeout, Sterlington. That's their 3rd and final timeout of the half.
Now things change a little bit, right? With 18 seconds remaining, I don't know if you can go with a running play here unless you go towards the boundary and try and get out of bounds.
Yeah, I think it's too risky to run the football here. You only have 18 seconds, no timeouts. You're going to have to take a shot in the end zone, try to get the ball down the middle of the field where nobody catches it but your receiver. And if Flowers can find somebody, great. If he doesn't see anybody wide open, throw the ball away, attempt a field goal from the right hash.
Madison Prep secondary, the definition of ball hawks. They have more than 20 interceptions total on the year. They will be licking their chops here, trying to keep this a tie ball game as we head into halftime. A score here by Sterlington would be their first lead of the game.
Going to be an interesting play call here. Let's see what Coach Jason Thompson and his offensive coordinator come up with here on 2nd down and basically goal to go.
4 wide set. Man in the backfield. Flowers rolls out. He's at the 10, flips it up, and that's probably the right play. Didn't have an open man. Don't want to force a turnover. And 3rd and 11 coming up. Do you take the guaranteed 3 here with a field goal, or do you do one more shot?
See, I think they're confused. I thought it was, they thought it was 3rd down there. It was only 2nd down because of the penalty on the illegal shift on 1st down. So actually you got one more shot at it, so they're going to take another shot here, and if they don't have it, throw it out of bounds.
They just brought 3 guys to the sideline, brought 3 more in. Flowers looking towards his head coach. I believe now he's got his play. It'll be 3rd and 11 with 11 seconds remaining.
Plenty of time on the play clock.
Flowers rolls out to his left again. Huge pressure by Madison Prep, and the ball's knocked free. What a huge defensive stand by the Chargers. A flag flies. That's Brian Jones.
And this is going to end the half because they're running the field goal unit out there, but I think they're going to call illegal grounding and potentially run the time off here at the end of the first half. I don't know if they'll be able to get a play off because it's going to be a penalty. Let's see how this shakes out, Garrett. I think it's grounding.
Intentional grounding. Sterlington, 5-yard penalty from the spot of the foul. Loss of down. The clock will run on the ready for play.
They can't spike it. They're going to have to kick the field goal here. Ball spotted at the 27-yard line. So a 44-yard attempt to try and take their first lead of the game. Snap, place, kick. It's got the distance. It's no good. Madison Prep with the win there, and they'll head into the half still tied in the ball game against Sterlington.
That's the conclusion of the first half.
Alan, how do we read the final 3 or 4 plays from Sterlington there?
Well, a little bit of some bad clock management right there at the end. You know, it cost them a real opportunity to get a field goal, a more reasonable attempt. 44 yards is a tough kick for a high school kicker. So probably not good management right there. They need to get some points, but they're going to get the football to start the second half and really got some momentum, playing pretty good ball.
4 rushing touchdowns in the ball game, 2 apiece for Sterlington and Madison Prep. And we can go down onto the field with Carly McCord.
Thanks, guys. Coach, 2 costly turnovers for you guys. How do you clean that up going into the second half?
Come back, continue to run the football, and stop first down runs for them. These guys ran the ball on us a little bit on first down. We couldn't get off the field, but we just got to get off the field on third down.
That touchdown that got called back due to holding, how do you prevent those costly penalties going forward?
Hey, it was a hustle play. Hands outside. To get your inside, they gave up 6 points.
Coach, good luck.
Thanks a lot.
Guys.
Coach Roach looking very composed. His Madison Prep team had the early lead. Then they went up 14-7. Sterlington, though, showing a whole lot of backbone. Points off turnovers, powering into the end zone twice in the second quarter. We're tied up 14 apiece. Halftime rolls when we return here on Cox Sports Television. A very compelling 2A championship matchup here. Sterlington 12-2 on the year, tied with undefeated Madison Prep at 14 points apiece. It's been a very good ball game with some ebb, some flow, and Sterlington's been able to come back and tie it right as we went into halftime. We have a chance to go down on the field. A city known for its halftime explorations. They'll have a chance here, and I believe this is Sterlington playing to their crowd. Let's take a listen in as they perform.
Please welcome to the field the marching Roy Wade, Madison Prep, accompanied by the Dancing Diamonds.
What a great opportunity for the student athletes. Halftime rolls here at the Superdome. Field and celebrate the all-academic athletes here on the Superdome floor. They will receive their awards, and there you see Sterlington bringing out one of their players from halftime. What a prestigious honor for them. Let's go down on the field.
These athletes have maintained over a 4-year composite course of study a perfect 4.0 grade point average. The LHSAA thanks ISC, and we join them in congratulating these young men who have truly epitomized the term student athlete.
Great shot there of the tight end, Ethan Wheeler, for Sterlington being awarded. You're playing for a championship, but hey, can you come on out, get the trophy?
Well, you come out and get the academic trophy.
Pretty impressive there. This has been a great game so far. Madison Prep has kind of won the battle of yards. They have 172 yards to get things started, but Sterlington's been able to match them step for step.
Well, they've had a couple of turnovers. Madison Prep not protecting the football, an interception and a fumble, and it gave Sterlington a little bit of hope and life during the course of the first half. And, we got a tie ball game here. It's going to be anybody's ball game. It's kind of the David and Goliath scenario a little bit, Garrett. The huge offensive line that Madison Prep has against the smaller, diminutive line of Sterling, but they're holding their own. It's been a great football game so far. 4
touchdowns in the ball game, all of them rushing, and we've seen some big guys get into the end zone. Let's take a look at your playoff highlights here in the first half.
Here's Edwin Kleinpeter. He's been doing a pretty good job throwing the football. I think they only have about 43 yards passing. But here's Mr. Everything, Tyrese Walker. He's been getting into the secondary and just wreaking havoc on that Sterlington secondary, especially late in drives. Troy James, number 4, 6'3", 285. He's been a menace. And here's a couple of the turnovers. Big play there for Sterlington, stripped a wide receiver. And Tyler Muse, what can we say about him, man? Off right guard, left guard. He's been doing it all for Sterlington in the first half. A little bit of a high throw there. Darren East with the interception. Face mask on the play. Really big play for Sterlington to stop that drive. Muse again off left tackle, doing a good job. And here's Devontae Douglas, the other part of the 1-2 punch, picking up some big yards on the option play. And, I'll tell you, it's been very competitive, very tight game. Walker has been the difference for Madison Prep. And he's been tough to get down. Savoy, too, been a good football player in the first half for Madison Prep, catching the ball, getting up the field, showing his speed. Devontae Douglas again running the ball. Both teams been pretty effective running the football, and Carson Flowers with their old quarterback draw right up the gut and tied the game for Sterlington at 14.
I think the real story, we can see it in these first half statistics brought to you by your Louisiana propane dealers. Madison Prep might be ahead by more if they wouldn't turn the ball over so often.
These football games are all decided by turnovers. Any game, most of the time, anybody that's got more turnovers usually going to lose it. Right now, you got an even game at 14. I'm sure Coach Roach is in the locker room with the Madison Prep team talking ball protection. Got to protect the football. We think we got the better football team. We should win this game.
Carly McCord has tracked down Sterlington head coach Jason Thompson. Let's go down on the field.
Thanks, guys. Coach, your guys really battling out there in the first half. Tyler Muse playing like Tyler Muse does. Talk about what's fueling his fire.
Well, that's who we are. We're certainly not as talented as most teams that we're going to play, but we're going to fight you. And we felt like we needed to get in the second half with a shot, and it's a 14-14 game. And I don't know how many 4 quarters games these guys have played. We've certainly been quite a few of them, so we're comfortable here where we are.
2 missed field goals. Did you address that at in the halftime with your players?
No, we'll throw him back out there again if we need to. He's missed before and come back. The same thing happened last week. He missed one in the first overtime, came out, won it in the third overtime. So we're not going to pressure him too much about that. We'll send him back in the next game.
Coach, thank you.
Thanks.
Guys.
I'm not a therapist, but I think Coach Thompson is very confident in his chances in the second half of this game. Don't go anywhere. We'll be back on Cox Sports Television. We welcome you back in. Halftime is in the books. 12 minutes on the clock here in the Superdome. Tied up 14 apiece. Sterlington won the toss and deferred to the second half. So the Panthers will have the football to get things started. And that man right there, like we said, very confident about his team's chances here against an undefeated Madison Prep squad.
Well, I think the reason he's so confident, Garrett, they've been in some close football games the last couple of weeks in the fourth quarter, 3 overtime win over the number 1 seed, Manny. So he likes his position. We'll see what happens. Madison Prep, a very talented football team, big team. We'll see if it wears on the smaller Sterlington here in the second half.
Tie ball game at the half. I don't know how many times that's happened this year for Madison Prep. They win their games by an average of 33 points. The kickoff to Sterlington, picked up by the linebacker, and it'll be short of the 35-yard line. Pretty nice field position there. Ethan Wheeler on special teams. He was just awarded with an all-academic selection and makes the pickup there on the kickoff. So the offense will come back out on the field. 2 touchdowns, both rushing. Carson Flowers with a nice job of moving his offense up and down the field and taking advantage of turnovers, scoring after the interception by Kleinpeter. Sterlington in their 3rd ever appearance in the state championship game. And a little handoff to Devontae Douglas, left end. Can't quite get past that pesky tackler, but still picks up a respectable 4 yards.
Nice play on first down. You know, we talked about this in the last ball game, Garrett. This first drive, first possession of the second half, to me, is always the most important possession of a football game, because either or, defense or offense, you got to make a statement here, and it's going to be interesting to see who takes control of this first possession.
Little protection on the line with those big boys from Madison Prep. Just 2 wide receivers and 2 men in the backfield. We've seen Tyler Muse run the ball well. They'll fake to Muse, pitch out to Douglas, and he couldn't make the cut against Bertrand Carell.
And they're going to tack on 15 yards, a little extracurricular activity on the Sterlington sideline. Madison Prep defensive back threw him down a little extra hard out of bounds, and that's going to be a big 15 yards to start this second half.
Carell got called for a 15-yard face mask in the first quarter.
Yeah, he's had a tough time. That's 30 yards worth of penalties.
That will extend the drive for Sterlington. Let's take a look.
Yeah, nice play here on the option. Good job by Flowers executing the pitch, and we got on the sideline. He just kind of, man, that's kind of a rough call. I don't know. Just kind of drug him down with him. Wasn't anything real malicious, but they called it.
There's Coach Michael Roach. You see the penalties adding up for both teams. Madison Prep with 8 penalties for 67 yards. Here's Douglas again, up towards the first down marker, and they'll move the chains.
It's amazing the size holes that Sterlington's created against a lot of those big guys on the inside between the tackle gaps. They just turn and flip the ball to Douglas this time. Great job of that offensive line getting underneath leverage on the bigger and faster Madison Prep front 4.
Douglas running hard behind that undersized offensive line. Again, Madison Prep with a 65-pound advantage, man-to-man, over Sterlington's offensive line. Douglas really getting on track running here. He could be a key for them in the second. Here's the keeper by Flowers over the 20. A stiff arm past the 15 and out of bounds.
You know, anytime an option team is able to establish the fullback early in the game and you start faking to him, just as though Flowers just did, a lot of times that big run on the outside opens up for you, and he did a good job with the read that time, getting up the field, big play. And Sterlington in business again is a 13-yard line, and it looks like Madison Prep a little shook up here, going to call timeout.
Carson Flowers, with his second biggest run of the night, had a 16-yard touchdown earlier on in the second quarter. We'll step aside and come back to the 2A championship on Cox Sports Television after these messages. This copyrighted telecast of the 2016 All-State Sugar Bowl LHSAA Prep Classic may not be retransmitted, reproduced, rebroadcast, or otherwise distributed or used in any form without the express written consent of Cox Sports Television and the LHSAA. Sterlington with a nice first drive here to start the third quarter. They've moved the ball up to the 13-yard line and have a fresh set of downs. Coca-Cola red zone in effect for the Panthers. Here's the snap. Douglas looking for space. He'll stay inbounds. The clock will tick, and he is tackled by Bertrand Carell.
Well, another good pickup, about 4 or 5 yards. But, Coach Roach went to the locker room after the interview with Carly and said, look, we got to start stopping these guys on first down. They're getting way too much. We can't get them off the field. And the same pattern is happening for his defense here to start the second half.
5 plays, 58 yards on this drive for Sterlington. Pretty good coming out of the locker room. Here's Douglas, met at that wall of a line, and his forward progress is stopped short.
Good job that time by the Madison defensive front. They snuffed out a little bit of a counter play and ran into a brick wall, did Douglas. Going to bring up about a 3rd and 7. A little bit behind the chains for an option team. And like we've talked about before, don't like being in these long yardage situations.
Linebackers got active there. Kirk Snarls, Tyron Delmore with the stop. 3rd and 7. It's a fake. He'll roll out to his left. Flowers trying to turn the corner on Jones. He's in the end zone. Touchdown, Sterlington. Second rushing touchdown of the night for the starter, Kleinpeter. Carson Flowers with his second score of the night gives them their first lead of the evening.
Wow, what a great play by Flowers. You kept thinking he might try to throw it away if he wasn't going to be able to get the corner, but he's deceptively quick, Garrett. Watch him get out here on the corner and outrun this defensive end from Madison Prep and just basically turn on the afterburners and somehow, some way, roll over the defensive player and get in the end zone.
Brian Jones, originally committed to Ole Miss, has more than 30 scholarship offers. Didn't have the angle on that play.
Wow, what a nice job by Flowers.
Sterlington 20, Madison Prep 14. Extra point is coming henceforth. This one's so low, it'll still be in play. The kicker will try and fall on it. That one, I think he kicked it into the back of his own line.
Well, I think what happened here, it looked to me like Madison Prep potentially hurdled the center, and I'm not quite sure if that was a legal play or not because flags came from everywhere, and I believe they're going to get a retry.
Well, that would be half the distance towards the goal. That might change what you do, but they're going to keep the kicking unit out there.
Personal foul, defense, roughing the snapper on a scrimmage kick play. The penalty's half the distance to the goal. Replay the try.
So the penalty for roughing the kicker, I think Walker, yes, he did.
Yeah, he stepped on the center, and that's illegal.
So they will retry the extra point to go up by 7. This one's up. And another flag flies. The kick was good. We'll see what the officials have to say here.
Might be the same flag. It looked like the head referee threw it into the pile again. We'll see what he comes up with. Probably can take it on the kickoff or decline it.
The kick is good. Personal foul on the defense. Roughing the snapper. Number 2. The penalty will be enforced on the kickoff.
I don't know if I've ever seen back-to-back roughing the snapper penalties, but that's now 10 penalties in the game for Madison Prep.
Way too many. You got the penalties and turnovers. You do the combination of both. You find yourself down 21-14. And again, the same problem.
The snapper got away scot-free there, maybe roughing the center. But that's the call. It'll be enforced on the kick.
And that's going to hurt. It's going to hurt Madison Prep on his kickoff. Instead of kicking from the 40, they're going to be kicking the football possibly from Madison Prep's on 45.
Your Baden scoring drive for Sterlington. 7 plays, 67 yards, 3:13 off the game clock, and a 9-yard touchdown run. Second tonight by Flowers.
Very impressive drive by Sterlington coming out of the locker room at halftime. You could tell in the voice of Coach Jason Thompson, they loved the position they were in, and they took that football and drove it down the field 67 yards, aided by a 15-yard penalty.
Thompson grew up in Ouachita Parish, attended Calhoun High School. He began his coaching career at Woodlawn Junior High, later coached at West Ouachita and Neville, and that's where he really caught everybody else's attention Thompson spent 9 years at Neville, says he was so fortunate to work under the legend, Mickey McCarty. They won a pair of state championships while he was there. I think we have a turnover. Madison Prep didn't field that one cleanly, and the Panthers have the football.
Well, they went to the onside kick on the short field, knowing that if the ball actually even got recovered by Madison Prep, it wouldn't be that big of a problem because it was a short kick. The officials are discussing it, but they've already awarded the football to Sterlington. Man, what a play.
The senior wideout, Austin Mears, number 89, gobbled it up at the bottom of that pile.
Great kick by the kicker, too. One of them high-bouncing kicks. Just couldn't be fielded by the Madison Prep front man, and Sterlington back in business again.
He's looking at the dome scoreboard. I want to see my highlight. Well, he's giving the ball back to his offense. They've got it at the 31-yard line and a chance for some lanyap to go up more than a touchdown over Madison Prep. Here's Flowers, pressured, drugged down by his jersey. A sack for James.
Huge defensive play by Madison Prep on first down. They tried to change up on offense, want to go for a big strike down the middle with a little play-action pass, and they got such heavy penetration by number 4. He has been all over the field tonight.
James is arguing that ball's mine.
He looked pretty close.
Flowers, being drugged down, had that one ricochet off of James's body. Madison Prep really wants the football, but they're not going to get it. And I think their fans just saw the replay here on the dome scoreboard.
They sure did.
Ball on the 38-yard line, 2nd and 17, a loss of 7 on the play. Flag in the backfield, could be holding. Here's a pass by Flowers. That'll be pass interference, and both of those should offset.
Another little bit of a change-up from Sterlington, going for the big strike that time. They had a man open, pass interference down inside the 10-yard line, but I think it's all going to come back and replay, like you said.
There are 2 fouls on the play. Illegal shift on the offense. Number 86 going down while a man was in motion. Pass interference. Number 7 on the defense. The penalty's offset. We'll replay the down.
Let's take a look at the penalty. He had his hands around his hips, brings down Austin Mears.
Yeah, he was.
You be the judge here. Watch the ball come out on the sack off his knee. I don't think the quarterback's down yet, but his forward momentum had certainly been stopped.
Yeah, but that's a close play. I believe I'd have to give that a fumble, too. I understand why the Madison Prep coaching staff and fans were upset with that.
Flowers so good at protecting the football, just 2 interceptions on the season. And I hear whistles, that'll blow the play dead.
Trey James has had some big plays defensively and offensively tonight.
Madison Prep, that's their 2nd charge timeout.
Madison Prep calls time. We'll step aside when we return. More action here from the 3rd quarter in the 2A championship game on CST. Don't miss the remaining 3 matchups of the 2016 All-State Sugar Bowl LHSAA Prep Classic presented by the New Orleans Saints on Cox Sports Television. The Class 3A matchup starts our full day of live coverage tomorrow at noon as Amite takes on Lutcher, followed by the Class 4A and 5A championship games. Take a look at Neville versus Edna Carr. Neville on a 39-game win streak, trying to win 3 straight championships in a row. Sterlington football, they have the lead and the pigskin, up 21-14 on Madison Prep. Ball on the 38-yard line of the Chargers. They'll go for the home run ball to Mears, and he can't come down with it. Pretty nice coverage by the Chargers secondary.
Really nice job in the secondary that time. That ball could have been caught for a touchdown. Finally, a post route down the middle of the field against this Madison Prep defense. Tyrese Walker making a great play in the secondary, jumping for the ball and knocking it away.
That's why they call him Mr. Everything. Offense, defense, special teams. Boy, he was looking to make the interception.
Pretty close. 3rd and very long here for an option-orientated team. We'll see what Jason Thompson decides to do here on offense.
Sterlington will bring in 31, the tight end, Tucker Allen, on coverage. And this will be a keeper for Flowers. Gets around the defensive end. That he'll be pushed out of bounds at the 35 for minimal gain.
Pretty conservative call there on 3rd and 15, but kind of to be expected. I'm assuming they're going to punt this football and try to pin Madison Prep way inside the 10, but I don't see the punting unit actually coming onto the field, so we'll see what happens. Like they might go for this on 4th and 12. I don't know if I agree with this one.
I like the shot that Flowers took 2 plays ago, trying to hook up with Mears at a one-on-one matchup at the top of the field. There's James trying to come free on the defensive line. Now they'll
they're
reset.
going to a little quick kick situation here. Yep. Good
nice
call.
And depending on the roll, Sterlington will let this one stay inside the 10. Their defense will come out on the field and put Madison Prep in a bit of a hole. 26-yard punt. And the Chargers are headed back out on the field on offense. Stay connected with CST online. Follow us on Twitter, like us on Facebook, and visit coxsportstv.com for the latest sports news and information. Find out more about CST programming and check out your broadcast schedule. You can also watch exclusive videos on our own YouTube channel. Log on today. I follow CST on Twitter. You should too. There's Coach Thompson, his team with the lead, now back out on defense.
Real nice execution of a quick kick. You leave your offensive team out there and make sure they don't have a return team back there to return that punt.
Sterlington with great field position on the average drive. Here's Tyrese. A little run there. Walker picks up some yards after the original. Maybe got a first down. 19 yards total.
Beautiful run by Tyrese Walker. He stopped for about a 6 or 8 yard gain, and you look up and he's breaking tackles, hurdling guys in the middle of the line. He's staying on his feet. His guys are continuing to push. Man, I tell you, he almost took that to the house.
Great pancake block by Travian Matthews, the guard for Madison Prep. 6'3", 319. Coach calls him very athletic for a reason. Cleared the way there. They continue to run the ball. Troy James, the Arkansas commit, who now has 9 sacks on the year, getting a good chance to run the ball in this offense.
He's been very effective. You know, at 6'3", 270, 280. He's been pretty agile in between the tackles.
Nobody wants to meet that in the hole.
No. If you're a safety or a defensive back, you are not coming up to hit that young man.
Under 7 minutes to play here in the third. James again and knocks a man out. Still on his feet, and they'll gang tackle him at the 35-yard line.
A couple brave souls that time came up and laid a pretty good lick. And James was able to keep moving a little bit, picked up a nice 3 or 4 yard gain.
I know we're not supposed to call for replays up here in the broadcast booth, but I got to see this one more time.
Trying to get the number of who he kissed that time in the hole. Number 33 for Sterlington.
I believe that was Dawson Snell.
Yeah.
Star linebacker. Now here's Walker again. Met at the 40 and brought down. And he's a little slow to get up.
Madison Prep put together a nice drive here. Started at their own 8-yard line. Already moved the football out to the 41. Started to control the clock, control the line of scrimmage.
There's Coach Roach, who told us our success over the last 48 months needed to be written about. Maybe a documentary. And you got to agree with him going into this game. Here they are in the state championship final in the Prep Classic. Just 4 years as a varsity program. Walker tonight with over 132 yards. A look at a flea flicker. Kleinpeter down the field, and it's caught. No, they lose it. Savoy was intended.
Good play by the Sterlington defensive backs there. He had his hands wrapped around that ball, took a good lick, and it came out right there at the end. Let's see what happened there. Little flea flicker.
Walker back to Kleinpeter. Oh, it was the hit that knocked it loose. East
has had a big game in that secondary for the Sterlington Panthers. Big hit right there, jarred the ball loose and really saved a huge gainer.
They'll run this ball again with James on what would have been maybe a 25, 30-yard completion. Samaje Colvin with the tackle. Ball now on the 46-yard line. Madison Prep looking at 3rd and 5. And the Sterlington fans are letting them hear it. It's getting loud in the Superdome. Madison Prep will try and shake that off with a 3-wide set. Looks up the receiver, and he's hooked up with Lyndon Rash. He'll move the chains and finally gets tackled at the 40-yard line. Sterlington letting him maybe get an extra 4 or 5 yards at the end of that catch.
Real nice play by Edwin Kleinpeter that time. They brought a blitz. He stood in the pocket tall, got rid of the ball, hit Rash right in between the number 5 and the headgear, right where you got to hit him. And a big game by Rash to pick up a first down.
See if they'll continue to go to Rash. Coach says he runs a 4.45 40. Kleinpeter tonight, 6 completions on 12 attempts, 57 yards. They've gone to the pass a little bit more. This time they'll hand off to James. James over the 35 and picks up 8 yards on that first down run.
Well, Garrett, we talked about early in the late in the first half, these drives that wind up becoming very long drives seem to wear down the Sterlington defense, and this big offensive line starts leaning on the smaller Sterlington defensive line, and they're starting to pick up huge yards on first down.
4:10 left here in the third quarter, and whistles blow. Timeout called.
Yeah, Jason.
Timeout, Sterlington. That's their first timeout of the second half.
Probably a pretty good timeout by Coach Thompson. He could tell his guys were getting worn down, tired, getting pushed around. Good timeout to get their bearings straight, get their breath a little bit, and try to see if they can keep Madison Prep out of the end zone.
What kind of benefit is it for Madison Prep to have a guy who's a star on the defensive line like Troy James, 6'3", 285, to come in and run the ball? I mean, you got to commit at least 2 guys to him when he's in the backfield.
Yeah, it's an amazing situation. You got a guy that big playing tailback, and he's putting a lot of fear, trust me, into those defensive players for Sterlington when he's getting in the hole, and especially when those defensive backs have to come up and try to make a tackle. He is a big young man.
He's got 30 scholarship offers, an Arkansas Razorback commit, and he's got a couple of programs of note that are also interested late. Oklahoma, North Carolina State, and Kansas. Just to have somebody like that with that size in the backfield. And then you take the offensive line that's already out there in front of him, 5 seniors who are all 6'3", 300 pounds or bigger. I'm not going to say it's an unfair advantage because all those guys stayed eligible, but that is something to see. Here's Walker trying to turn the corner, 33 yards to the house. Tyrese Walker scores, and we're an extra point away from a tie ball game.
Well, when Tyrese Walker gets a little bit of daylight on the outside, he's one of these guys that'll take it to the house, and that's exactly what he did. Great blocking by that big offensive line, got a crease off a right tackle, and a little bit of a bad angle by the Sterlington defensive back, and he let him get on the edge, and Katie barred the door here. You ain't going to catch this young man.
Woo. Even in slow-mo, he's a blur. His 39th touchdown in 2016.
That little dip move right there got a bad angle for number 5 in the Sterlington secondary, and you're not going to stop him.
Hawkins with the extra point right down the middle. Tie ball game, 21 apiece. Your scoring drive brought to you by Bodden. 9 plays, 91 yards, 3:25 off the clock, and the second touchdown by Tyrese Walker this evening. Alan, let's take one more look at that touchdown. There's a little horse collar at the very end, but they just weren't able to track him down.
No, I think Walker's a unique football player. You know, he's been able to break tackles, make guys miss. That little dip move goes unnoticed, but when you put a guy like number 5 who's got an angle on you in the secondary, he put a little dip move on him, got around him, and just used his speed to get to the end zone. He's been doing that all night long.
Chase Carter got his hands on him, but could not bring him down. Carter with that turnover earlier that he recovered. And Madison Prep's Spirit Band entertaining everyone here in the Superdome. Both teams brought their bands, and what a wonderful experience it was at halftime to see both of these bands. You know, whether you come down every single year, like West Monroe or Haynesville, or just get one season in the sun, this is a great opportunity for these young students.
Absolutely.
You saw the numbers there for Walker dominating here in this game, and we're tied up yet again. Special teams creating some yardage for Sterlington. Madison Prep gets the stop, 16 yards on the kickoff return there. Jacorius Spencer, a junior, 5'8", 200 pounds. He's a backup running back for them as well. Now Carson Flowers, who's had a very fine night, back out on the field.
Great field position to start this drive. We got 3:54 left in the third quarter, so long way to go in this football game. Been a great game so far.
Flowers under center, 1st and 10. It's kind of one of those fumble-rooski type plays where the lineman was fighting for it. This one's still on the deck. The team's scrumming for it at the 40-yard line. Madison Prep comes away with it. I'm not sure if that's a trick play that went errant by Sterlington. The replay will have to tell the tale.
I'm not sure who got it. It looks like Sterlington recovered their own fumble. Somebody underneath the pile jerked it out of there.
I'm not sure if the ball's fumbled.
I believe it's just Tyler Muse. You know, he's just trying to get some extra yardage. He's still got the football, and they yanked it out. I'm not sure if he wasn't down on that play.
I think he was down.
Yeah, it looks like he was down anyway, but he was kind of covered up by a bunch of Sterling.
Let's take one more closer look.
Yeah, I think he's actually, his...
And the right call made by the officials saying he was down. And they will fly ahead forward with Muse running that fullback dive. Madison Prep unhappy that they didn't come away with the turnover. I thought that was one of those plays where you take a smaller back and he hides behind the offensive line and messes around for a couple seconds. That was not the case.
Yeah, the old fumble-rooski wasn't in effect on that play. It looked like they tried to rip it out of him. But here's a big play. 3rd and 8. Sterlington kind of losing momentum. They got to see if they can come up with some yardage here.
2:35 left in the third quarter. Here's Devontae Douglas, stopped short of the midfield stripe on 3rd down.
Great tackle by Bertrand Carroll that time, coming up and getting a nice hit and getting their, arguably best running back on the ground, heading downhill. Good tackle that time by number 7.
Madison Prep's going to lose 20 seniors off this championship team squad. Carroll will be back. He's just a sophomore. We've called his name a lot tonight.
We have. He's been involved with some penalties, been involved with some great tackles. He's been all over the field.
So a punt coming up for Sterlington. And Madison Prep will send a man back deep. Here's a kind of a shanked kick. Goes away from the man inside the 25-yard line and takes a Sterlington roll. They were trying to kick this thing away from Tyrese Walker, and I would too.
Yep, wound up being about a 34-yard punt net after it was all said and done. Not a bad job. But you can feel it, Garrett. The momentum of this football game has shifted again. It's been a game of momentum swings, big plays, and I believe Madison Prep right now, you can tell, got a little hop in their step coming back out on the field offensively.
Now it's time for Sterlington and that defense to try and stand tall, get a stop, and get the ball back, and a little momentum going into the fourth quarter. Klein Peter back out on offense, 18-yard line. Here's the handoff to Tyrese Walker. And he's got such a quick first step. He'll get up to the 25-yard line. Tough to stop him, squeezing in between those tackles.
Nice little inside trap handoff that time. Had a little hole, went in there and got another 6-7 yards. Great job on first down. Going to, put them in a good position as far as the chains go. Can either throw or run the ball here on 2nd and 3.
A handoff again. They'll run off the left side. Walker with the first down. The cut, and he's finally brought down over the 40.
Well, Tyrese Walker's approaching about 200 yards rushing in this game. Had 165 before this particular series. Here he is again, just bouncing it outside. He's going to be a tired young man come the end of the night.
Nice downfield blocking by Lyndon Rash. They also ran over the end, over the tight end, Robert Jackson at 6'3", 230, who's had a nice night blocking. It's the big man again. And Jones loses the football at midfield. Sterlington says they have it. We'll wait for the official to make the call.
And they do.
They put the big man on the field, and Troy James put it on the deck.
Well, he had that ball out there kind of like a loaf of bread, and I think somebody popped it out on the way down. We'll take a look at it on the replay. Broke a tackle. Yep, good play that time. He got hit by number 48. Caused that fumble.
The defensive back, Cody Seward, forces the third turnover of the game for Madison Prep.
And you almost have to call the high punt snap a turnover, too. You got to throw that one in there. It's not an official turnover, but 4 swings of field position tonight.
Sterlington has been clean in that regard. Here's the handoff. Jones tackles the quarterback solidly. It was the fullback with the ball. Muse maybe picks up 2 yards. I don't care if you don't have the ball. I'm going to take you down.
I'm going to stick you because I'm not sure if you handed it or not. And
pretty nice effort by Muse to hold on to that ball. He had the big man, Brian Jones, taking him down. Now 2nd and 8 as the horns blare here inside the Superdome. Whistles blow, and that pitch to Devontae Douglas. We'll have to wait. Coach Roach has coached at the college and high school levels across the southeastern U.S.
Encroachment on the defense, number 9. 5-yard penalty.
And that'll back them up 5. Roach has been at Morehouse College, Alcorn State, and actually played a little bit at Grambling State, from Grambling down to Southern Lab and Glen Oaks. Got a smile on his face there.
He's enjoying himself down there. You know, why not, man? Have a little fun. This is a fun game. 21-all here, fixing to start the 4th quarter. Looks like Sterlington will get one more play off. Now they won't. They're going to go ahead and run the clock, and we'll take it on to the 4th quarter.
6 touchdowns in the ball game, 3 apiece for Sterlington and Madison Prep. That is the end of the 3rd quarter. We'll step aside and come back. Sterlington will have the ball when we return on Madison Prep's 44-yard line. The pageantry of Friday Night Lights in the state of Louisiana on display here. We're a quarter away from crowning a champ. Tie ball game, 21 apiece. Alan, let's look at the stats through 3 quarters.
Well, through 3 quarters of rushing yards, Madison Prep have accumulated 231. Most of that's Tyrese Walker. Passing yards, 57. Rushing yards, 165 for Sterlington. They have not completed an official pass tonight for any pass yards. So looks like they're dominating the game, Madison Prep. But you know what, Garrett? 3 turnovers. It's an even game going into 4th quarter.
Starting at the 44-yard line of Madison Prep, Sterlington plows ahead over the right side. And that's a run by Devontae Douglas. Douglas, 5'6", 175 pounds in his senior season. Trying to produce the first championship season in Sterlington history.
They're going to have to measure for this first down. It's pretty close. It's either going to bring up a 3rd and 2 inches or a first down at the 41 for the Panthers.
Well, we will say congratulations to last weekend's champions in the select side, Riverside, Southern Lab, St. Thomas More, and Evangel. All crowned champions. And then earlier today, Logansport winning the 2nd title in school history and what must be considered a small upset over undefeated Haynesville, the number 1 seed. First down for Sterlington. Ball spotted on the 41-yard line. Special congratulations to Riverside's Bill Stubbs, who retires and goes out on top. Nice win for the New Orleans area program. 2 wide set, 2 men in the backfield with Flowers. There's that fullback handoff over the 40. Well, he just falls forward and picks up 3 yards every time.
I know it. You got to run that play to keep the defense honest because you're trying to get Douglas on the outside again on the pitch play. Flowers has done a good job picking up some yards rushing the football, but it's hard not to give it to Tyler Muse. That's money in the bank when you give it to him off that right and left guard.
One more note about Bill Stubbs of Riverside. He won 3 championships at your alma mater.
I know he did. He's been a great high school football coach, Bill Stubbs. Know him well. 3 championships over at Salmon and great success at Riverside.
2nd and 8, ball on the 39-yard line. And Madison Prep just everybody in the box right now. They've got 2 wideouts covered. That's it. And Sterlington loses the ball. I believe the player was down, but they continue to get positive yards on the run, even with the box stacked. The clock will run when they place the ball.
Here's the option again. That time Flowers on the keeper. Got upfield, got a little bit of leverage on the defense, picked up another 3 or 4 yards, going to bring up 3rd and 4, which is a good position for, the running attack of Sterlington. Not one passing yard tonight for the Panthers.
The running attack's been working so well for them. Flowers came in with 15 passing touchdowns on the season. Offense comes set. It's Douglas with a head of steam and a blocker. He stopped shy of the 30. That's the big man, number 99, Brian Jones.
Boy, it's going to be close again, Garrett, for the first down. They might have to measure this one to bring the chains all the way across the field. We'll see where they spot it, but it looks like it's about a half a yard short. 4th down, huge play here. You know where they're going to go, where to Tyler Muse.
Long way to run for 6'4", 275-pound Brian Jones. 12 sacks on the year, 12 passes defended. What hasn't he done? He'll come set on the line. It's 4th and 1. Flowers pops back up, looks to the sideline. 14 on the game clock. They'll fall forward with Muse. As long as he holds onto the ball, it's a first down.
I tell you, it's really an amazing formation that Sterlington runs. He's in a track stance, a half a yard behind the quarterback, and he comes out of it so quickly, and Flowers does a good job just getting the ball on his tummy. It's not the easiest thing in the world to do, to get that football from the center on the tummy of the fullback and then let him ride in there to pick up some yardage. And nice job of that Sterlington offensive line getting a little push.
Speaking of that line, they're running over the right side. Chandler Jones, 6', 205. Trey Rugg, 5'11", 185.
It's pretty amazing, but they're getting leverage and getting underneath the bigger guys.
3 wide set. It'll be Muse again, and they are getting very close to another first down. 2nd down coming up.
And they are eating up chunks of time off this clock. Already down to 8:25 left in the 3rd quarter. And they started this drive at the start of the 4th quarter. And really amazing ball possession right now, picking up yardage. Nothing fancy, straight ahead.
Madison Prep on average gives up 10 points a game on defense. Sterlington has bucked that trend. Flowers under center, hands off to Muse. Again, Muse breaks free, and he'll be rode down at the 5-yard line. Big pickup by the senior fullback.
Boy, you have to love Tyler Muse as a football player, and you had a feeling they might get a crack in there. They've been wearing out that A-gap again between the guard and the center, and it's really nothing fancy. He breaks a tackle, arm tackle in the interior of the line and gets up the field and almost gets it in the end zone.
19 yards on the carry. Just a little simple handoff, and Madison Prep can't stop him at the line. Now 1st and goal in the Coca-Cola red zone. Ball's on the 5-yard line. Seven men on the line for Madison Prep, and Muse falls forward again.
And you said the key word there, falls forward. You really have not seen him get stuffed in the backfield. He's always falling forward for 2 yards here, 3 yards there, keeping the chains moving. Madison Prep needs to get some penetration, but it's very difficult. I think if they fake it to him this time and keep it on the option, he'll walk into the end zone.
5 down lineman. It's a keeper by Flowers. He's in the end zone. 3rd touchdown of the night. Touchdown, Sterlington.
You can see it coming. You keep everybody honest with that fullback in the option game, and you knew Flowers might keep it, and sure enough, he walked in the end zone off the left side. What an impressive drive that time after the fumble.
It'll be credited as a 4-yard touchdown run. He covered a little more ground than that.
He did. He danced around in that little hole right there, got to the end zone, and really nice execution of the option play by Sterlington to go up 6. Big extra point here. Every point in this close game is very important.
Alan, you got to be impressed not only with their ability to power the ball forward, they've got good speed to the boundaries.
They really do. You look at Flowers and Douglas, big 1-2 punch.
A touchdown lead for Sterlington late in the fourth quarter. Your Baden scoring drive for Sterlington, 10 plays, 51 yards. More importantly, 5:51 off the clock, and Flowers with the 4-yard touchdown run. Time is certainly of the essence now.
Well, you got 6:56 left in the football game. Sterlington up a touchdown, and Madison Prep's going to get the football back. They've got to answer Sterlington with another one of these long drives. They've had a 91-yard touchdown drive and an 87-yard touchdown drive in this game, so they're going to have to put it together, get Tyrese Walker rolling again.
The Panthers from North Louisiana with a lead in the fourth quarter over undefeated Madison Prep. Pretty good boot into that one. Tyrese Walker fields it right on the 10-yard line. Doesn't have blockers, runs into a wall, and he's up to the 22.
Boy, there's been some tough football out here in the game, but we have not seen one injured player on the field tonight to my recollection, and there have been some tough tackles, some tough sticks. Big hit right there on Tyrese Walker on the kickoff return, Garrett. And, these young men are fighting to the death, let's say, to try to win this state championship.
Well, the community of Sterlington, Louisiana, on the north part of the state is growing. They think by 2017 there will be 5,000 people in the area. I'll tell you what, every eyeball in Sterlington, whether it's here in the Dome or back home, focused on their team with a lead here in the fourth quarter. Not giving up on the tackle there is Chase Carter, and he stops him on the 25-yard line.
That was a good tackle. He got nothing but jersey there for a while and was able to hang on, because you got to hang on for dear life when Tyrese Walker gets the football. Really nice job of grabbing the jersey.
Just slow him down so one of your teammates can knock him out. Now 2nd and 6. Ball on the 26-yard line for Madison Prep. Here's Walker. They lose the tackle. He'll be brought down shy of the 30.
Big play here for Madison Prep if they expect to win this football game. Still plenty of time, 6 minutes left in counting, but they got 3rd and about 4 at their own 29. Big play call here by Coach Michael Roach.
Can Sterlington stand tall? They fire into the line. Here's Kleinpeter. And a nice pickup there over the 40-yard line. And the chains will move.
The hook route to Lyndon Rash tonight has been huge. They've been throwing the ball to the outside. He's been running a little hook out there. Too much cushion by the Sterlington defensive backs. And Kleinpeter this time throws a strike, and Rash with a good catch gets up the field for a first down.
Big play by the senior, Edwin Kleinpeter. They've been the only ones involved in the passing attack this evening. Here's a 4-wide set and a handoff right into the gut. And a huge tackle for loss by Sterlington.
Big hit that.
No real place to run there. Terrence Carter, the ball carrier. Carter's first carry tonight. He's a 5'11", 220-pound senior.
That was that man Easter again, number 3. He is having one heck of a football game tonight. He's got an interception. He's been all over the place.
Madison Prep, trailing here, has won close games this season by 4 over Livonia, by 2 at East St. John, and most recently in the playoffs. They're going to have to come from behind if they want to tie the ball game up here late in the fourth quarter.
Garrett, I got to believe this is 4-down territory. I know there's only 4 minutes left in the football game. You're at midfield, 3rd and about 4. I think Coach Roach and his staff have got to be thinking, I got 2 plays to pick up 4 yards here. I can't afford to punt the ball back to Sterlington's offense and let them run this clock out.
The Panther faithful are going to make it hard to hear in the Superdome. Wow! Kleinpeter steps up, avoids 1 tackle. Now he'll be brought down for a loss.
Boy, what a pass rush by Sterlington that time. Got right up in Kleinpeter's face. pulled it down and didn't have anywhere to go with the football. Bring it up 4th down. Big decision here by Michael Roach. What do? Do you punt the ball? Hope? You still got, you only got one timeout left. That's going to be a problem.
Chase Carter closes in and gets the tackle. Big stop as well by 45, Tanner Coley.
They're going to go right back out here to Lyndon Rash on the hook route. We'll see if number 24 is going to play this thing a little tighter.
This could be a championship stop for Sterlington. No, the drive continues on a pass to the far sideline. Nice little hookup there between Edwin Kleinpeter and Jeremiah Wynn. 13 yards on the catch.
Nice composure by Kleinpeter. He was trying to go to Rash initially, stepped up in a pocket and threw a strike out to the outside on a big 4th and 10 conversion.
Boy, that was a bullet right in his breadbasket.
Great throw.
And the clock will stop. No, the clock runs. I'm sorry, they'll say he did not get out of bounds. Here's a run up the gut. Troy James, the big man, running the ball again for Madison Prep. And just somebody that's nice to have in the backfield. Such size on that offensive line, and then he's able to bulldoze behind them. Here's Kleinpeter handing off to Tyrese Walker. He ran behind James. We'll see the spot by the official. They're about 2 yards shy of a first down.
Just a power off tackle play, the isolation play to the tailback with Big James leading the parade right through the right guard. Tyrese Walker tonight, 24 rushes, 205, and 8.5 yards a clip. That's been what he's about averaging all year long.
Walker with 2 trips to the end zone. He wants another here to tie it up. 3rd and 2. Walker around the end, made the cut, still on his feet to the 20-yard line. And he lost a shoe. He lost both of them.
Both shoes. I don't think I've ever seen that before where a running back ran out of his shoes twice.
Ran right out of his Under Armours, but he moves the chains and gets them inside the red zone.
Better get them shoes back on quick. They need him in the lineup.
18 yards on the carry by Walker. 2nd and 3rd effort. Let's take a look.
Man, amazing running by Tyrese Walker. He is willing himself to pick up extra yards after first contact.
Here's going to be a carry. They'll finally bring Troy James down. I hate to be somebody underneath him in the pile. And Tyrese Walker being attended to on the sideline. I don't know if he got caught up with a cramp or not. He's been busy tonight. They're just getting his shoes on.
Trying to get both of them on and get him back in the lineup.
That's when you know you're a star. Can you put my shoes on
That's
for
right.
me, please?
You got plenty of help for both shoes.
I will see you at the next level. The junior Walker on the sidelines. They got to get him back in here. In his absence, James has been running. It'll be a handoff to him again. He's inside the 10. Bulldozes inside the 5. Put your head down and start knocking people out.
Boy, this is going to come down to the last minute here. 1st and goal from the 3-yard line. Madison Prep, 1 timeout left. And here comes Mr. Everything, Tyrese Walker, back in the game. Big run that time by James. Just power football right up the gut.
You see the player down. You know, if James stays in the ball game, Allen, there's nobody on the defensive line for Sterlington that weighs over 235 pounds. He's going to have 100 pounds on anybody he meets at the line.
That's a pretty good advantage to have at the tailback position.
And there's Austin Goodson, the 5'8", 235-pound senior, the biggest man on their line, coming out under help.
That's going to hurt Sterlington in this situation, no doubt about it. Probably going to go to number 2, though. He's the money man. I believe I would not take a chance with 4. He dropped it on the ground on the last drive. I believe I would get it to my money man, Tyrese Walker here, and give him a crack to get it in the end zone with 1 minute, 8 seconds left.
Tyrese Walker back in the ball game. The Under Armour laced up. Here's a little handoff to Walker. He's met at the 5 and brought down.
Wow.
A tackle for loss for Sterlington.
That was Dawson Snell, number 33, in the backfield. What a play by Snell. to get him down in the backfield.
Less than a minute remaining in the fourth quarter. Madison Prep knocking on the door. The exciting conclusion when we return here to the Mercedes-Benz Superdome. Welcome back into the Louisiana Superdome. Mr. Everything, Tyrese Walker, 7 rushes tonight of 15 or more yards. Madison Prep is out of timeouts, Alan.
26 carries for Walker, 221 yards and 2 TDs. But the big thing is they're out of timeouts, 2nd and goal from the 5. It's going to be interesting to see how Michael Roach plays this thing, because if they run the football, they may have to spike it to get a 4th down play.
The senior offensive line comes set for the Chargers. Here's Walker over the 5, into the end zone. Touchdown, Madison Prep.
Great job of that offensive line. They opened up a gaping hole. Looked like Sterlington tried to shoot some gaps and gamble that time. And when you gamble, sometimes you lose on the running play. And Walker got into the end zone basically untouched. This is going to be a big conversion right here. Let's see what they're going to do. Could be talking about going for 2 and in the game. We'll see.
Great hole opened up by his offensive line. His 3rd rushing touchdown of the night. Walker scores from 5 yards out. I think the sidelines for Madison Prep want to go for 2 and the title.
I think they are. Clyde Peters still in the game. They're going to have to hurry, though. The play clock's down to 6, and that might make a decision for what they got to do.
Down to 2, down to 1. They'll say they got the ball off. It's Jones met in the backfield. Flags fly. Sterlington is going to end up winning this ball game.
It sure looks like it. There's a flag down, but I think it was an illegal shift. It is against Madison Prep on offense. They weren't set.
Illegal shift on the offense. Illegal shift. The back was not set. The penalty is declined.
A huge stop and a penalty for Madison Prep.
Well, Madison Prep was disorganized. They weren't sure what they were going to do on the sideline. Had to run the offensive team out there with basically under 10 seconds on the play clock to try to get a play off, and Sterlington was ready for them. Now you got to go to the onside kick. You still got a chance. 44 seconds left.
Was just about to say the onside kick is their saving grace. That is their opportunity to get the ball back. They will have precious few seconds to work with.
Well, what penetration Garrett that time by the Sterlington defense got James in the backfield. Never let him get ahead of steam because, like you said, 280 pounds, unbelievable to try to stop him.
Your Baden scoring drive, 14 plays, 78 yards covered, 6 minutes plus off the clock. And Tyrese Walker with the 5-yard touchdown run.
Just confusion on the sidelines. You know, they went over there acting like they almost had a timeout and had to rush their offense back on the field for the 2-point play.
Credit number 66, Noah Weatherly, with that stop, though the flag nullified the play. There's Coach Jason Thompson, 44 seconds away from the first state title in Sterlington football history.
Big onside kick here. See how this thing is covered by Sterlington. If Madison Prep can get it, they still have a chance.
This one's not going to go 10 yards. They're going to back it up.
Now that should do it.
Wow, Sterlington explodes. The sidelines meet. Their fans are on their feet. And an undefeated season could be going up in smoke for Madison Prep.
Well, Sterlington playing the role of David tonight, playing Goliath. And it looks like David's going to win the game. Sometimes they slay the big man. And tonight, Sterlington's diminutive offensive defensive lines were able to hang in there, fight, and it looks like they're going to win the state championship.
The ball will be placed at the spot where it went out of bounds. First down, Sterlington.
It should be a victory formation away. No timeouts for Madison Prep. The black and blue fans on their feet here in the Superdome. 44 seconds on the clock, and Flowers takes the knee.
Well, you got to say, we've had two upsets here tonight. You thought Haynesville probably had the game wrapped up. Logansport rallied to win one of the great football games in the Dome history. And tonight, Sterlington coming in. I don't know what the Vegas odds would have been tonight, Garrett, but I think they were probably a touchdown or two underdog.
A smile on Coach Thompson's face, some stunned faces across the field on the sideline for Madison Prep. A fantastic season for the Chargers. They'll line up one last time in 2016, and Sterlington takes a knee. The Panthers are LHSAA champions here in the Superdome in 2016.
Excited bunch of Panthers, boy. What a great game. We saw two great high school football games tonight in the Superdome.
Sterlington with the upset of undefeated Madison Prep, 28-27. And in the end, Alan, it all came down to a two-point conversion that they just couldn't even get off.
Yeah, I know it. And just a little bit of disorganization at the end of the game. I wasn't quite sure what they were thinking about. They knew they didn't have any timeouts left and had to rush the offense back up on the field.
A stunner, and the Madison Prep players who came in so confident will not leave the Superdome with a championship.
Well, I think the moral of the story is, sometimes size doesn't outweigh grit and a little bit of fight and execution, and they turned the football over 4 times tonight, snapping it over the punter's head. Didn't hurt them at the end of the half, but, it was just a accumulation of 3 turnovers and that kind of play, and really hurt them during the course and the momentum of the football game.
Great show of sportsmanship by these two teams down on the floor of the Superdome. The 2A championship won by Sterlington. They came in 02 and 03. They did not come away with victories. In 2002, Sterlington was playing at the 1A level. In 03, they moved up to 2A and made it back to the state title game. It takes them 13 years, but they get their state championship. Let's go down with the victorious head coach.
Coach, first of all, congratulations. Your guys really battled there throughout the whole game and all the way to the end. But the big difference maker was your quarterback, Carson Flowers. Talk about him and what he was able to do for you all tonight.
He's a competitor. I've said this many times in my 21 years. He's one of the most competitive kids I've ever been around. And, when the game got tight, we put the ball in his hand and allowed him to make plays. And he did what he's done all year, and that's make plays and win us a football game here. And I just couldn't be prouder.
Talk about what this championship means to your community, to your school seniors.
Well, when I came here 4 years ago, this senior bunch was freshmen. And I don't know. I don't have a whole lot of words to explain them other than just fighters, competitors, battlers. And I love them. It's a great group.
Coach, congratulations. Go enjoy this moment.
Thank you.
Guys, we'll send it back to you.
Thank you very much, Carly. Sterlington, 13-2 on the season. District champs and now state champions. Boy, they earned it. You take a look at some of the final statistics, Alan, and boy, Madison Prep ate up all the yards, but Sterlington with the win.
Yeah, and those 14 points off of turnovers was huge. But you got to give Sterlington credit. They hung in there. They took advantage of opportunities to turnovers. Madison Prep on paper, and I think even on the field tonight, showed they probably had the better athletes. But sometimes, as you know, Garrett, in a sports game, the best athletes, the best players don't always come out on top.
You see the fans getting their high fives from the victorious Sterlington Panthers. Jason Thompson, the head coach, grew up in Ouachita Parish. And he spent 9 years at Neville, learning under Mickey McCarty. Alan, they won 2 championships there at Neville. Now he's got a championship as a head coach. You see the smiles, the high fives. This is a special moment and a first state title in school history.
Well, you look at some of these teams that have had some pretty, what I would call mediocre records. Same thing in the first game. Coach McGee started off 2-9 at Logansport, and Coach Thompson here had a rough first year or so, but he's really built a nice program, instilled some confidence in these young guys in high school. And look, they were a scrappy bunch of guys tonight against a pretty big, probably more talented football team.
With the size of the offensive line, the way they were able to move the ball all night, I don't think we can second guess Coach Michael Roach going for 2 instead of tying up the ball game and possibly going to overtime?
No, I don't think so either. I just think, at the end, got a little bit disorganized, and it's unfortunate, but those kind of things happen, and you got to give Sterlington credit. Met him in the backfield and stuffed a 2-point play.
We have a chance to go down on the field now with our presentation of the team trophies and the most outstanding players.
The award goes to number 2, Tyrese Walker. The next award is the All-State Sugar Bowl Outstanding Player Award for Sterlington. As selected by the working media of the Prep Classic, the award goes to number 1, Carson Flowers. And the final award presented is the 2016 All-State Sugar Bowl LHSAA Championship Trophy in Class 2A, which goes to Sterlington High School. Once again, the LHSAA sincerely thanks All-State Sugar Bowl for sponsoring All-State Championship trophies and awards and supporting high school athletes.
Well, Alan, I believe it's time to build a new trophy case at Sterlington.
First state championship in Sterlington, and man, that's going to be a fun ride back to North Louisiana for these young men. And a big crowd came down from Sterlington. They brought a lot of folks over there in blue tonight, and congratulations to those guys, something they'll never forget.
A 1-point victory in the Class 2A state championship game. We'll step aside and wrap up the postgame when we return. Boy, it looks good on you, Sterlington. We'll return after this.